Hi and welcome to another Destiny Success Incorporated recording. This is indeed video number 2, how to start your own business, an exact step-by-step guide to getting started in Zimbabwe. And remember, this has been downloaded from the millionairesinmotion.net website, where you have, of course, the first part and soon to be coming third and fourth part of this recording. Now, today we're going to recap what we went through in the previous training. Remember, we looked at the old versus new 6 areas where income and money has changed. The first one was money. We looked at the old way money was. We know that money was valuable. Now it no longer is. We also looked at the area of age. Age was important. It mattered. But now age is obsolete. We also looked at education, and we realized that book education, unlike in the past, is no longer a prerequisite to success. In fact, we realize now that education is actually raising people to be slaves, more or less. Then we looked at high-paying jobs, and we realized that the high-paying jobs just aren't there anymore. Job security is a joke that does not exist anymore. So more of us need to be super careful with jobs. Then we also looked at taxes. Before, everybody paid them, but now only the workers and the employees pay. Then we looked at retirement, and we realized that there isn't anything to retire to, because most savings, most money has been eaten up by inflation. Now, entrepreneurship is the way to go. Why should one get into entrepreneurship? Well, it's time to start your own business, and here are a number of reasons why. First of all, additional income, which really is cash flow, just to increase your ability to be able to earn some money. It could be a main income as well for many people. We do realize that over 80% of the population today have no formal employment. Dream lifestyle, getting to live where you want to live, getting to do what you want to do when you want to do it, is the dream of most people. Also, financial independence, really not to always be dependent on your job, not to always be dependent on your pay slip, is something that most people would really like to do. Investment, remember that wise people invest. Wise people put money away into various functions so that in future, when they are no longer able to work, they're able to earn something, and hence investments lead to long-term income, which is then obviously able to see you through in your various endeavors in life. Now, what are the ingredients for success? What are the core matters that determine success? Let's look at what triggers it, really. What gets somebody successful? Well, there's dreams. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has that thing that they look forward to becoming one day. That's the biggest factor. There's also purpose. For some people, they identify what their purpose is, and in many ways, because they know their purpose, this drives them with an insatiable appetite for success. Also, we have goals. Some people have decided that their big goal in life is that they're going to make something of themselves. And in such cases, obviously, this becomes a factor. Well, then there's planning. Once we know what's happening, and you put a plan to place and then take a course of action, which is going to lead you to that particular goal, and then finally the results will come through. So basically, these are the ingredients for success. It starts with a dream. That dream is locked into a purpose. That purpose is turned into mini goals, short, medium, and long term. Then there's a plan created for the short term ones. Then there's action taken, and finally results. Now let's continue with the think sheet and look at more. Personal inventory. What do you enjoy doing? This is a very, very important question, because if you're going to want to do business, you're going to really decide to do a business that is something that you already have a passion for, because remember, passion is the fire that's going to make your dream a reality. In short, without passion, your dream can't manifest. How much time per day can or will you devote to that business? Because I tell you something, value or wealth comes from the combination of time, effort, and value. And can you afford to quit your job? If not, can you build a part-time business? This is a very, very important question. Not only that, what type of personality do you have? Is it outgoing? Is it reclusive? Is it center of attention? Is it behind the scenes? What kind of a personality do you have, and can that help you in as far as success in business is concerned? Now, do you also prefer to work with or for a company, or start your own business? Which is it? Because that's very important as well. You need to decide if you're going to build something from square one, or you're going to join somebody that's already successful, bringing in your equity in that business in the form of value, in the form of money, in the form of many other things. At the same time, we also look at goals, okay? Now, these are very, very cardinal. You have to decide what kind of goals you want to have. Is it additional income? Is it main income? Is it dream lifestyle? Is it financial freedom or independence? Is it investment? What do you have in terms of long-term income. Now, these are things we looked at earlier on and are very, very important. Now, passion is a very, very big one in this picture, and you need to have passion as well. Now, do you have a hobby? Is there something that you enjoy to do? Is there something that you love to do even if they didn't pay you for it? Do you like helping people? Do you have a specialized skill that you enjoy? Create a business out of what you know and enjoy, and it will not even seem like work. That's the secret between those who become very, very successful and those who don't. The fact is that those who become successful choose to do businesses that are related to their hobbies, to what they like to do, and to their specialized skill. That, my friends, is the secret. Then decide whether you want to start out on a part-time or full-time basis and run with that, my friends, because that's exactly how you're going to be successful. Now, let's look at types of businesses that are out there. There's a startup, which is really just a business that you do on your own. You pick a dream, you pick whatever goal you have, you pick whatever business you're passionate about, and then you go out there and you do it. And then you could buy into an existing business, and I tell you, there are tons of those around. You will have a current, you have some current customers and a known track record of performance, because obviously these existing businesses already have some kind of clientele going with them. Or you could just franchise. You could literally go out there and get a brand recognized a company like McDonald's or Pizza Hut or Burger King or KFC or something, and that way you buy into an already existing system with everything already done for you. The name literally makes money on its own, and all you gotta do is just follow the system that they teach you and do what is required, and you should be extremely successful. Now, we also look at choosing a business structure and helping you to understand all these. Now, we got sole proprietorships. These are businesses that basically are a one-man business, and the whole concept and idea behind it is that one man runs all aspects of the business, provides all resources, and this is a very common medium of business when it's done by one person and really relies on them themselves. And then there's general partnerships and joint ventures, and it's a once-off arrangement that may be repeated, and normally between two or more persons or businesses. Now, we also have 4 types of businesses available, and let's look at those. We got the first type, which are public limited companies, and they're corporate. It's a corporate association of 2 or more people. It's mandated to sell its shares to the public, and it has a minimum of 7 members. These are very common. You probably have come across hundreds and hundreds of them. The second type of business is what you call a limited company by shares, and it's a private company basically. Owners are legally responsible for its debts only to the extent of the amount of capital they invested. And then corporation or corporate association, incorporated businesses between 2 or more owners have limited liabilities, and the business is a separate legal entity but whose shares are not freely transferable. So that means this thing exists on its own. It's on its own. It's an entity. It's a thing, and it's a company. That's how it works. Then the third one we have is what we call limited company by guarantee, and this is normally NGOs and the like. This is a non-profit making company with not more than 50 members, and each member is to sign a declaration of guarantee specifying the amount that he undertakes to contribute if the company is wound up and its assets are insufficient to cover its liabilities, and the liability in this case is limited only to the amount so guaranteed, hence the term itself. Then the fourth type of company is what we call unlimited companies, and it's the same characteristics as a limited company by shares. Liability is not limited to the company or entity alone, and owners are usually liable in the event of bankruptcy to clear all outstanding obligation and debts. Now, business registration. Now, there are 3 major registrations processes here in Zimbabwe. The first one is the Chief Registrar of Companies. That's where everything starts. In fact, a little later on in this video, we're going to be going through super detailed step-by-step process of exactly how to register companies, and I'm sure this is going to help a lot of you watching this. Now, Zimbabwe Revenue Authority is another big one, the ZIMRA. These guys basically take care of everything. There's the National Social Security Authority, or NSSA, who these deal with pensions and the like. Now, I want to make a disclaimer here, which is very, very important to all of you watching this video. I want you to understand that information changes on a regular basis. So what you're watching is not to be taken as a manual and as professional advice. Whenever you want to do something professional, please seek out the help of professionals to help you, such as consultants whose job it is to do what is about to follow. Now, whatever the case, we are going to be showing you a step-by-step process of exactly how you go about registering your company and how to get things off the ground should you be one of those planning to do it. And do remember that things are changing all the time, laws are always changing all the time, factors are always changing all the time in the country. So what you're watching today may not necessarily be truth in another 2 or so years, or perhaps even 6 months from now, as laws may be changed by the registrar himself. But whatever the case, right now these laws apply. So let's dig in and get your pen and paper, because we're going to be going into some serious stuff to help you understand exactly how it all works. So here we go with the step-by-step guide, the process of getting your company registered with the chief registrar. So step 1 is a 7-day process. It will cost you $5. Now, I have to mention this even as we begin this, that we're going to be going through a series of costs, so you're going to keep tab of exactly how much it all comes to, but it's $5 to start with. And here you register the company and name with the chief registrar of companies. And then from there, the reservation is valid for 30 days and can be extended for another 30 days for an additional fee. And then in step 2, that will be now a 14-day process, and it will cost you $100 minimum. That means it could cost you more depending on what factors come in. Now, you first file a memorandum and articles of association with the registrar of companies, and then you notify the appointments of the company's directors and secretaries by filing the particulars. Now, A, of all the registrar of directors and secretaries and any changes therein, or a list of directors and principal officers using Form CR14. Then also, these documents must be accompanied by a duplicate original or a printed notarized copy. Then continue with step 2. We now recommend that you start with a low amount of capital so as to avoid exorbitant stamp duty. They do charge, if you increase the capital, then obviously the stamp duty is higher. So make sure you start with a low amount unless you're opening a big, solid company to go with that. And then the company may also issue shares at a premium to circumvent the requirement. Now, step 3 is a 14-day process, and there's no charge. Now, do remember that there's a number of processes that actually take place at step 3, and we're going to go through each and every one of them so that you understand how they work. First of all, register with the tax authorities for income tax, VAT, and pay as you earn. Then at the same time, upon formation, a company must register at the regional Zimbabwe Revenue Authority office, or ZIMRA. Then at the same time, a copy of the company's certificate of incorporation is required for the collector's records, along with a memorandum and articles of association and a certified copy of the identification of the assigned public officer. So you do realize that's a number of these documents. This is the second set that you're going to give to ZIMRA. Then, still continuing, the company will be issued a registration number as well as the current tax tables and the pay-as-you-earn receipt books. The P8 and P6 forms now must be generated by the applicant itself and are not freely available. So the ITF-16 form must be completed in consultation with the income tax office. So somebody from the ZIMRA will guide you on exactly what to do. Continuing, with the changes in the law, companies must now budget to pay all their company tax within the trading year. So before, you could do that after the year is over, but now it is required that you pay all tax obligations by the end of the year. So the tax must be paid as follows: 10% by the 25th of March, 10% by the 25th of June, 40% by the 25th of September, and the balance, which is obviously 40%, by the end of that particular year on the 20th of December. Now, on the third step, 14 days, no charges. This is still continued. Firms with a turnover of over $60,000 must register for VAT with the ZIMRA. And also, an application must be made on an application for certificate of VAT of registration. That's Form VAT1, which goes along with Form VAT2 and VAT3, can also be found at the website for ZIMRA. And then firms with a turnover of obviously less than this amount may apply for voluntary VAT registration if you want to register for VAT, but if you don't have to. Now, step number 4, 14-day. This process is also simultaneous with step 3. There's no charge to it. You register with the National Social Security Authority for pension and the Accident Prevention Compensation Scheme, and these are very mandatory because in case you have an injury at your workplace, then there's a way for them to be compensated. At the same time, remember that the National Social Security Authority also deals with pensions in general, and the employer and employee must each contribute 4% of the employee's gross monthly salary. Step 5, 1 day, simultaneous with step 3. There's no charge to this. Register with the Manpower Development Fund, and the employers must register with and contribute 1% of their wage bill to the state-run Manpower Development Fund. The fund allows employers to recover expenses when employees complete training. So if one of your workers goes for maybe an accountancy course and they do that and they complete that and they get a certificate, then this fund can refund you as a company for having paid their employees training. Step 6, 1 day, simultaneous with step 3, and that is going to cost you $20. Now, in this one, you pick up the form of license application notice from the City Health Department, and step 7, 4 to 6 weeks long, simultaneous with step 3, and will cost you $30. Now remember, this is all simultaneous with step 3, so all these next 4 steps I've mentioned so far are going at the same time. Now, advertise on a local newspaper the application for a trade and business license, and at the same time, a trade and business license applicant must be publicly announced and the proposed application twice in a local newspaper. The form notice of intention to apply for the issuance of a new license is available from the City Health Department. Now, the first notice must be published no more than 6 weeks, but at least 4 weeks before the application will be heard by the licensing authority. Now, the second notice must appear 7 days after the first notice, and any objection to the application must be submitted in writing to the licensing authority within 7 days of the second notice. Now, this is step 3, $530 process. Submit an application form for the issuance of a new licenses to the licensing authority in Harare Municipality. And 2 copies of the application forms are submitted, and proof of both publications in a local newspaper of a notice of intention to operate a business. Now, step 8, still on 530 days process. On receipt of the application, the licensing office requests a police report on the applicant, as well as a report on the person who will be in actual and effective control of the premises to which the application relates. That person is not also the applicant, so that's 2 different people. Now, the licensing officer, or office rather, also seeks a report from the Harare town planner to ensure that the application is consistent with the zoned use of the premises. Now, do remember that obviously if you're going to be doing this in Bulawayo or going to be doing this in Mutare, you might go to those particular town planners, but where those don't exist, then you go to the provincial headquarters, and if those don't exist, then you have to go to Harare. Continuing, application for the license can start once the Registrar of Companies grants its approval of the company name. It is also possible to apply for a temporary license pending the grant of the full license, which can take up to a month or longer. And finally, step 9, 1 day, simultaneous with step 3, no charge. The licensing officers visit the company site, inspect the company site to check if the intended premises are suitable for the intended use. Maybe you want to manufacture soap, so obviously you have to see if all this stuff complies. The criteria used by the officers are specified in the relevant bylaws. So there are laws all over the place under the particular municipality, and those will indicate precisely what it is. Now let's look at some regulatory bodies in Zimbabwe, and these are compliance rich. The city councils themselves, they deal with various licenses like the trading, manufacturing, wholesale, retail, and a whole bunch of other licenses which are very, very important. Then we've got the Standards Association of Zimbabwe. They deal with setting or ensuring that your product is up to standard. We also have the Zimbabwe Investment Authority, who are experts when it comes to the kind of investments you can make in the country of Zimbabwe. You know, one thing I've come to learn is sometimes you get to make so many mistakes and do things that don't make any sense simply because you don't ask. Go and consult these authorities that have been set up free of charge to help people like you and me to know the right way to invest in whichever area we want to invest in. Now, the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority deal with issues relating to fuel, issues relating to electricity, and other such issues, and you might find that your business may require compliance in one of these areas. It's extremely important that you do not ignore them. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they deal with non-banks as well as bank issues. So if you're going to be opening any kind of business relating to money or investment of any sort, you need to be in tandem with these guys. Then you got the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe. They deal with all issues relating to telecommunications as well as posting. And of course the Health Service Board, who deal with issues relating to health. Now, these are not the only authorities. Do remember that there are many more authorities and regulatory bodies that deal with various other issues. Now let's do a recap just to help you remember what we went through. Why get into business? That's the first thing we looked at. Then what type of business can one get into? And then how to register and start a business. And we did a very comprehensive series of that. And then also the regulators who we just looked at just now. Now, what's going to be coming in the next presentation is going to be actually how to write a business plan, types of businesses to get into, challenges for the new entrepreneur, and this is all in relation to a revolution that's coming our way. So are you willing to be proactive? Are you willing to do what's necessary to bring about change? Do you have the opportunity to do so? I believe you do. So look out for video number 3, which gets into types of businesses, which will be launched out on Wednesday the 4th of September at 7 a.m. So do look out and bookmark the page where that is. Remember, this is all in readiness for the Millionaires in the Making, the 90-day challenge event, which is going to be taking place in Bulawayo on Wednesday 11th of September this year, and in Harare on Monday 16th of September this year. Now do remember that the Bulawayo event is actually 4 days long, so it's actually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday 11th through 14th, and Harare is 2 days long, Monday, Tuesday 16th, 17th of September. I'm looking forward to linking up with you there, and do remember to fill up the details, send an email, send an SMS, get in touch, let's meet there, because you never know, this could change your life completely. Take care. This has been your host, Reverend Walter Mwambazi, and I'll speak to you next time.